Welcome back to the Comeback Kid, everyone. When we were last with you, Nigel Ward, guest on the show today, was talking all about USD baseball, the kind of work they're putting in. Really exciting stuff. Can't wait for baseball season to get rolling. But right now, European soccer's going on. So the Premier League, there was some very interesting matchups this weekend. Nate, we had this past Sunday, we went to Shakespeare's like we always do, which is a pub in San Diego where you can wake up at the crack of dawn, 6 a.m., go in, and there's a ton of people singing, doing their team's chants, and watching some Premier League soccer. It's kind of like the most authentic experience you can have without actually attending the game physically, which is really, really fun. So we went this past Sunday, and this past Sunday had two marquee matchups. There was Arsenal versus Manchester City and Chelsea versus Man United back-to-back. We stayed for both matches. It was packed. The bar specifically is a Chelsea supporters bar, so they were rather happy that Chelsea was able to take care of Manchester United over the weekend. But before we get into that, Arsenal, Manchester City. As an Arsenal fan, I was hoping for more. However, I can sadly say that it was somewhat expected that Man City would come in and take care of business in this matchup. What did you see, Nate? What did you see in this matchup?
I saw a Man City side that is looking like arguably the best side in Europe, and I saw an Arsenal side that was like, it seemed like from the start they were resigned to the fact that they were going to lose. You could tell from the lineup Arsene Wenger put out. Why isn't Lacazette starting? You go out, you spend $50 million on a striker, and you don't start him for your biggest match of the season. Why isn't Lacazette starting? But he came out. He normally comes out with that 3-back. Decided to go with a 4-back because hey, you don't want to get smoked out there. You're just saying, hey, let's park the bus and hopefully we can attack them on the counter. But I mean, the final score was 3-1. But the thing is that Manchester City they weren't even like dazzling. Like they were just better than Arsenal. But it wasn't they were out playing these tremendous passes. They looked to me like they just cared more, and Arsenal was just like, whatever.
I think it started with the lineup selection. I think if you were a player walking into that locker room, you see that Lacazette is not starting this game, you're kind of just looking at your manager like, what are you doing? You spent $50 million, as you said, Nate, to bring in a guy for these exact situations to start against the big teams, and you don't start him. It makes no sense to me.
I mean, how do you expect to keep Alexis Sanchez or Mesut Ozil when the mentality in the clubhouse is we're not going to start Lacazette, who you did spend all this money on, is what you're saying. I mean, we've heard a lot of names linked with Arsenal over the last few years that we would have hoped to see. I mean, if Arsenal had their way, Messi would be on Arsenal and Ronaldo, and let's just put Pele on the team. Like honestly, Arsenal has a problem, and I think it's safe to say that Arsene Wenger is the Socha of soccer.
Oh yeah, he is. She's been there much longer than he should have been. Complete refusal to change. I mean, last season he went to the 3-back, which I'm pretty sure was the first time in 20 years that he had changed anything about Arsenal's lineup, about Arsenal's formation. And so, I mean, now the next test for Arsenal after the international break is Tottenham. Mm-hmm. I don't see them winning that match. So, last season Arsenal finished 5th. I think that they're a top 8 club at best. I think that they might not even qualify for the Europa League this year.
Yeah, that matchup against Tottenham is going to be very crucial, and we've seen in the past couple of years the power dynamic shift in arguably the fiercest rivalry in British soccer between North London teams, Tottenham and Arsenal. Tottenham the other week played Real Madrid at home and destroyed them 3-1, and Real Madrid over the past 2 to 3 seasons has unequivocally been the best team. They've taken a little bit of a step back this season, but they have been the best team in the world. So that was a very big statement game, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Before that, Chelsea took care of business this weekend against Manchester United, a very, very tight 1-0 victory. Nate, you and I were in Shakespeare's. Stoppage time was very tense. Manchester United was getting the ball into the box and getting a lot of scoring opportunities, and was this a not only was this a must-win game for Chelsea, but was this a must-win game for Antonio Conte, the manager of Chelsea?
Yeah, I think this was a must-win game for Chelsea. I think that if they want to have any hope of winning the title, which right now with Man City 8 points clear of Tottenham in second place, I think that if Chelsea wanted any hope of winning the title, they had to win this game. They were able to take care of business. I thought that Antonio Conte he put out a decent line. Not a decent line. He put out a great lineup, and the key was N'Golo Kante in the middle. They look like just such a better side when he's in there. I mean, they're creating chances. And I think that pretty much everyone from Chelsea had a pretty good game. Morata with a brilliant header to get them the one goal that they needed. And meanwhile, for Manchester United, after a flying start to the season, it's been a struggle for them. Lukaku has not scored in, I think, 8 straight matches. I don't know what's going on with him. He shaved his head and his beard. I thought maybe that would bring him some good luck, but it's not. I don't know what's going on with Lukaku. And, interesting thing for Manchester United, Jose Mourinho, this is his second year there. I don't remember the exact amount of matches, but in his entire time there, in road matches against top 6 sides, Manchester United has scored 1 goal.
Really?
They scored 1 goal.
Wow.
And I think that's a problem with Jose Mourinho is that when they go and they play these big matches, particularly on the road, Jose is happy with just getting a point. I mean, we saw a couple weeks ago against Liverpool. Liverpool is absolutely terrible defensively, and Manchester United, they didn't attack. They sat back, and it was a 0-0 draw.
Yeah.
Yesterday, they sat back. They didn't attack until the very end, and it cost them.
Yes. I definitely agree. And another team we mentioned prior that's really struggling is Real Madrid, Nate. What do you think is wrong with Real Madrid? They lost to Tottenham 3-1. They're some odd points behind Barcelona in La Liga. They're not really anywhere. They're within striking distance of the title, but they're definitely not where they want to be. What do you see that is wrong with Real Madrid right now? Yeah,
they're 8 points behind in the title race, and I think in the history of La Liga, only 3 teams have ever come back from an 8-point deficit. But I think that the problem with Real Madrid is just Karim Benzema just is not scoring. Cristiano Ronaldo, 42 shots on goal, 1 goal. No, 42 shots, 1 goal. Gareth Bale is constantly getting injured. And I think for the first time, we're going to see what type of manager Zinedine Zidane is. Because for his first couple of years at Real Madrid, he's been flying high, hasn't had to make a lot of moves. But now he's finally having to deal with some adversity. And we'll see the type of manager he is. Because this is a guy who sold off James Rodriguez and Alvaro Morata during the summer. And I think that those guys could be making a difference right now on this Real Madrid team.
Definitely. I agree with that. And so some definite storylines are developing. I think Antonio Conte at Chelsea saved his job this weekend and restored a lot of faith that was dwindling a little bit over there because they had lost previously 3-0 to Roma in the Champions League. It was Chelsea was looking like an iffy side, but they were able to take care of business against a very, very strong Manchester United side over the weekend. And then Real Madrid, we'll see what happens moving forward. We'll see if Zinedine Zidane's time is running out because Real Madrid, amongst many teams, managerial tenures there are not the longest, so we could see his time coming to an end there. So, moving on, we're going to transition into our segment. And I don't know if you just heard the door, but Matt just left. And that is because, Matt Hendrickson, this week, you are riding the bus.
Warm the bus. Warm the bus.
So, Matt, you're riding the bus this week because last week, we had a segment about the Las Vegas Golden Knights and how amazing they are and how they're an impenetrable force in the NHL. The day after, or the moment after, the Knights must have heard you because they lost 3 subsequent games after that segment. Matt, what are you doing? You're jinxing possibly the greatest start to any sports franchise's expansion team in history. You are the sole reason why they now cannot win the Stanley Cup. You are the sole reason why their season has now gone to waste. Matt Hendrickson, ride the bus.
Big time, ride the bus, Matt. Big time.
Come on, Matt. This is so disappointing. How can you do this to the good people of Las Vegas?
Seriously, I mean, look what they just went through. Come on, man. Like, give them some credit.
I mean, to Matt's defense, I guess, Las Vegas is on their 4th string goalie, meaning that 3 of their top goalies have gotten hurt. However, we're just having a great time just like roasting Matt right now. So Matt, ride the bus.
This is nothing about the goalies. This is all Matt's fault.
Nate said it best. So, closing, we're actually going to introduce a new segment to you guys right now. So we're actually going to update you guys what's going on here at the University of San Diego on campus. So Nigel, can you tell us a little bit of what to look out for in the world of USD sports?
Yeah, absolutely, Ben. Just as a reminder to everybody out here listening, get out and support our sports teams because we really do have some amazing athletes here at USD. Especially, men's basketball opening up, women's basketball opening up, USD football closing in on a Pioneer Football League title. They're undefeated right now. Don't want to jinx it, but I really hope they get that and get in a playoff spot. Not to mention volleyball. They're tied for first in the West Coast Conference. They beat BYU on BYU's home court, and I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that's the first time they ever lost a set, or they have lost a set in like the last 5 years, let alone an entire match. So hats off to our volleyball team. Really, really athletic, really great games to go and watch. Especially, everybody here. Even if you have homework, you should go and watch these games. They're really something to see, and go out and support your fellow students.
Yeah, Nigel pretty much hit it on the head. Go out, support the sports teams. You'll see me particularly at the basketball games, and I might be the only one there, but I'll be there. I'll be yelling things at the other team's coach, at the other team's players, and it's the sporting events are as fun as you make them. So even if you're one of 5 students there, go out there, have a good time. You can make it a fun atmosphere.
Great stuff, guys. So remember, go out and support USD athletics. It's growing. We're doing a lot of big things in athletics, especially recently with how we're reaching out to students, and there was a football tailgate a few weeks ago for the homecoming game. So USD itself is making these games a lot more marketable and attractive for student attendance. So let's respect these decisions that they've been making proactively for students to get involved and come to the games, guys. So finally, like we do every week, let's give everyone our final thoughts, meaning what we are watching this week in the world of sports. Nate, what will you be watching this week?
Well, this Saturday I will be watching Miami and Notre Dame. It's going to be a great football game. Kind of a throwback to one of the old college football rivalries. They would call it the Catholics versus the Convicts, Notre Dame versus the U. And this is going to be College Game Day's first appearance at Miami in, I think, 13 years. And both teams are going to be ranked in the top 10 of the college football playoff ranking, so should be a great game. Nigel, what will you be looking forward to?
Actually, I'll let Matt go. Oh, wait a minute. Matt is gone forever. Never mind. Actually, this weekend, baseball has practice, so I will be at practice. But on a side note, I probably want to see a little bit of that Miami Notre Dame football game. That sounds like a great watch. And even if, like we were just talking about USD sports, come out and watch some baseball intersquads. I know we could take all the pressure we can get. We get a lot of fans out there, especially in the spring when we get into conference. Go out and watch some, do some homework, watch some baseball. I know I'm going to be following the off season. I know that is slow going sometimes, but we're going to follow that for sure.
Yeah, and as Nigel mentioned, Matt actually left. He has class, and he didn't want to sit through all that crap talking. So Matt normally would ask you, you're not here. What I will be watching is rather what I won't be watching, because baseball season is over, and I'm really sad about it. And it's going to be a cold, long, dark winter without baseball, and it's a sad time for me. However, soccer is kind of working my way in the heart. And again, the Miami Notre Dame game seems very entertaining, so have to look at that moving forward. So that's it for us this week, because I also have class to get to. Special thanks to Nigel. Thank you so much, man, for joining us on this episode. Your insight was super valuable, and we hope to have you back sometime.
Thanks, Ben. Sorry, I really appreciate that. Hopefully I can come on. Yeah, I'd love to be out here just goofing around with you guys on the radio. Love it, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much, Nigel. So, closing out, check us out on USD Comeback on Twitter and Facebook, or search The Comeback Kid and give us a listen on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/ComebackKidUSD. And for those of you listening on Facebook, Twitter, or SoundCloud, we broadcast live every single week at 9 a.m. on USD radio station, which can be found on the TuneIn Radio app. TuneIn is available on both Apple and Android app stores. Once you download it, just search USD Radio, favorite that page, and you'll have access to USD Radio wherever you go. So that is it from us. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Have a great day, you guys.
New Kung Fu Kenny. Ain't nobody praying for me. Y'all know what happens on earth stays on earth. Here we go. I don't give a